So what's happening in Japan is that on June 10th, they're going to start guided tour group package tours. It means that you can come into Japan, but only with a guided package tour. Independent travelers or independent tourists will still not be allowed into Japan. This is kind of their first step for the Japanese government to ease in on restrictions, and the cap is still at 20,000 people. The main goal for the Japanese government is first to allow more people into Japan, but they want to still control the numbers, especially because they are still very concerned about the numbers of COVID cases. These guided tours are set and they're full. Their itinerary is packed, and the idea is to keep, the tourists coming in very busy, but not giving them much free time so they won't wander off or, intermingle too much with the local population, I guess. I'm guessing, that's my guess. The schedules are very tight, they're very packed, and you always have a guided tour that will always be with you. And when you come in, the Japanese government has different countries coded differently. It's red, yellow, blue. So there's 3 levels of countries. Blue, which is the most relaxed, yellow, and red. Red has only 4 countries: Albania, Pakistan, Fiji, and Sierra Leone. And the other countries fall into the upper blue and yellow, and restrictions depend on which level you are. The most updated information is from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs page. I will put the link down in the bottom below. So if you click on there, you can see what the restrictions are. There are no independent travelers, no independent tourists allowed yet. I'm assuming this will eventually change, but again, who knows when that will happen. So again, Japan, out of the G7 countries, they have been the most strict, and they have also been criticized the most because of being too strict. Prime Minister Kishida says it's important to protect the local population, so he believes that that's the best way. But again, because of pressure from outside, Japan is finally starting to open. About 2 weeks ago, the Japanese government hosted a FAM tour. A FAM tour is when they bring in tour guides, tour agents, tour coordinators for kind of a promotional tour. So they brought in 50 from different countries. The main 4 countries, I think, were United States, Singapore, Thailand, and Australia. And even on one of the groups, there were 4 participants from Thailand. One of them tested positive for COVID, and that tour was canceled. But everybody else moved about, and I think everyone was happy. It was a nice hosted FAM tour, keeping everyone quite busy and doing many things, just like it was kind of practice for what's coming in June 10th.
And soon the country will be welcoming foreign tourists. They will be returning to Japan for the first time in about 2 years. Small groups of foreign travelers are currently taking part in package tours in various parts of the country as a test for the upcoming return. These people work in the tourism industry.
Everything's been really fantastic so far, so I think everyone will just be really excited to be able to come back. And
the Japanese government plans to open its borders to foreigners from 98 countries and territories, such as the US, South Korea, and China, only through guided package tours starting on June 10th. This is a temporary measure for the time being. Expectations for the return of foreign tourists are high in popular sightseeing areas. One of them is the Asakusa district of central Tokyo. Before the pandemic, the area was always packed with foreign tourists. And they were always eager to buy from local shops. The owner of a souvenir shop says she has high hopes for the return of foreign travelers, and she is excited. She says foreign travelers shop in a different way from Japanese tourists. She says foreign tourists tend to buy items in large volume as gifts. But hotels that offer rooms mainly for foreign visitors have some worries. A hotel official says this used to be a room for 8 guests, but will now be used for just 3 to 4 people. She says before the pandemic, her hotel was able to offer rooms to all guests who wanted to stay. With foreign visitors, including students who want to study in Japan, gradually returning, hotel officials are worried about whether they will be able to meet demand for rooms while keeping anti-infection measures in place. There are also concerns about whether staff will be able to adequately explain antivirus measures to guests.